to chasing that national title?
Do I think this has something to do with it? Absolutely, it has something to do with it. But what that ranking is, or when that happens, or how it plays about, I don't think that necessarily correlates. I think that you having a complete staff, keeping your staff in contact and in keeping them together, and also being able to do it year after year, is a level of consistency and a level of support that you're getting internally to make sure that we can do the things we can do. It's hard to go out and recruit at a high level year in and year out because so many people recruit against you based on who you sign. You better have a good product to sell, which academically we do. And you know, I really, there's not going to be a separation between 1 through 10 in these recruiting rankings that really matters. What matters is when they leave, number one, how many of them are present, how many of them graduated, how many of them lives did you change, and they're not going to be judged just on wins and losses. They're going to be judged on what kind of people are they when they leave your program, because that's going to allow you to recruit the next kid. You know, when Nick Chubb and Sonny Michelle leave your program and do great things, that's what's going to sell to the next kid that wants an opportunity to come in and do those same things.
Well, with Andrew Thomas and Isaiah Wilson both going off to the NFL early, how important was it for you guys to make sure that you retain the commitment of Broderick Jones?
Well, it was a lot more important a year ago to sign Xavier Truss. It was a lot more important a year ago to sign Warren McClendon, because when you have Andrew Thomas and Isaiah Wilson, you understand there's an opportunity for these guys to leave. I'm not a big believer that the next guy's just going to walk in and play for Andrew Thomas and Isaiah. You have to plan things a year out. So really, we're looking at this saying, okay, these guys are going to have to be ready to play possibly next year, but really the next year. And the same thing at defensive back. You know, we got a lot of defensive backs coming back this season. Got a lot of them, and some good football players. But we're a year away from what could look like the O-line, because we have some potential guys that come out. So what are you doing to develop the ones you're signing now is more my concern. You know, it'd be foolish for me to sit here and think that 2 of these tackles we just signed are going to walk in here and play. You guys will print that, but I'm also a realist that that's probably not going to happen based on the history of the SEC. You do the study, how many freshman offensive tackles have played. That's tough to find. You know what I mean? It's hard to do. Now, if they're the athletic and they're the best guys, or we have injuries, those guys will provide us great depth. And I certainly think a lot of these guys we just signed are talented enough to come in and help us. But they're not mid-year guys, and they'll have to come in and compete for it.
Coach, can you talk about just the recruitment of Cameron Kenny, and also just on the flip side of the offensive line, it looks like the offense is going through some sort of transition. Will there be a different size guys or a different type of recruit that Matt Luke likes on that offensive line?
No, there's no criteria. We sign based on who gives us the best opportunity to be successful. Number one, what kind of person are they? How are they academically? How are they athletically? How many positions can they play? No, there's no size criteria, big or small, that we're necessarily trying to change to. That's not the case. I mean, you got to go to pass pro, you got to go to run block, and it's not like a philosophical difference there. Cameron King was a kid that we targeted and felt like was, number one, extremely high character, was extremely high academic, really good athlete, played both ways, played at the highest level of football where he played, and we're fortunate to get him signed with us, and we're excited about him. I think he's a guy that's going to be he's a program player in that he's always going to be doing the right things on and off the field, and he plays at a high level of multiple positions. I mean, this guy played 4-eye, played 3 technique, he played center, got a lot of respect for the program he comes from and what he can provide to our depth on the offensive line.
Coach, it's, by all accounts, it's going to be one of the top classes in the country this year. You did that amid some pretty major changes on offense. Can you talk a little bit about the changes that you made on your offensive staff with Todd Monken, and if his presence contributed to some of this success?
Yeah, we're excited about what Todd brings to us, but as far as the recruiting process, you know, he got involved in most of these late. Most of the work had been done on a lot of these guys, and when you think about it, the wideouts, I think every one of them signed early, so that was not a major factor in this recruiting class, but I am excited about this class, and I think that these guys are going to have an opportunity to grow and play at our place, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Kirby, between the change of quarterback and change of coordinator, how different do you think Georgia's offense will look?
I don't know the answer to that. I think the roles on our 2020 staff still aren't complete with our extra assistant coach spot open. I think that will develop and play out as we go along. I'm certainly excited. I know that the kids are excited for an opportunity, and we'll have to see where that goes. I can't honestly say that right now. I think everybody wants to hear some grand speech of opening this up and doing that. That's not necessarily what you need. Is to be productive offensively, score points, and do the explosive plays, which we've talked about consistently.
Did you cross paths with Coach Monken during your career, and what was it about him that attracted you to bring him to Georgia?
Well, I'll steer you back to, we really want this to be about our signing class.
Sure.
But yeah, Coach Monken and I crossed paths at LSU. He came in with Les Miles' staff, and I was there for, I don't know, a month, 3 or 4 weeks before I came here. So we were briefly on the same staff. We crossed paths throughout time, speaking engagements, recruiting on the road, the Southern Miss job, a lot of interaction those different ways. But yes.
Coach, looking forward, what are your plans for special teams? Will you have a replacement for Fountain, or will it be shared amongst all the coaches?
Yeah, like I just mentioned, the 2020 staff roles have not been completely defined yet. We still have a staff spot available, and really all options are still open on that.
You mentioned the high number of out-of-state guys in this class specifically. What caused the number to be higher than, say, 3 or 4 years ago in terms of out-of-state kids?
Yeah, twofold there. Probably, number one, we had more interest from out-of-state kids. So we had some national interest from players that came to camp and really performed well that in the past we might have lost out on. It might have been second or third on a national kid that was a really good player, say a Darnell, say a Kendall, say a Keeley. But we won a lot of those. The other part is we lost some in-state battles that were really, really good players. And so I think the two of those merged to just kind of happen at unique positions where, hey, we'd have taken the in-state guy or we'd have taken the out-of-state guy. It just so happened we got the out-of-state guy. But we're excited for those players, and there's been a lot of good out-of-state players play here at the University of Georgia. There's no limitation to your borders. But we certainly respect and understand how good our state is and what the high school coaches do in the state.
2 more questions?
This might be more of a bigger picture question, but as you try to tie a bow on where this offseason has been at this point, with the signing class, with the changes, with everything that's going on, has this been unique at all for you as a coach, or is this something that you deal with every offseason with so much change up and down?
I don't think it's been, like, to me, last year with both coordinators going was much greater than this offseason. I mean, we're still in the offseason, so all the changes aren't done yet, and so it's like, it's part of the process. And I think you being able to reinvent yourself, reinvent your program, and also develop the players in it is what's going to make you set apart, make you different. So, I mean, we're not completely done yet. This class doesn't completely wrap it up. There's still moves to be made for us from a hiring standpoint, moving people around. So it's not it's a work in progress. It's constant improvement, constant growth. That's what we're trying to do. But no, it has not been, I think winning the Sugar Bowl was a big bonus and helped kind of kickstart us into the second part of the recruiting season.
You mentioned the number of high character guys you signed in this class. When you and your staff are deciding how heavily to recruit a player, how much do discipline concerns or potential character concerns sort of factor into the recruitment of a player?
More every year, more each and every year. Like, it should never be the only thing, but it's definitely the most important thing. And the older I get, the more wiser I get, and the more you realize that chasing guys that don't believe in the same principles and values of your university and of your program, they're just not worth it. I mean, there's too much time spent on guys that if you're having to chase them around, it's just not worth it. I mean, take the guys that want to be there, you go play with the guys that want to be there, and number one, you'll enjoy your job day to day, your staff will enjoy it more, but so will the other players. So it's very important to us.